Hi everybody, Steve Crivers here, developer of the MTPredictor software program. Just wanted to do a quick video today showing, well, what an amazing day we had on MTPredictor on Friday, which was the 28th of June. Let's start by looking at a 3-minute chart of the YM. You can see that the STF was red stroke black here, which means the trend was down. We did start off the day here with an automatic setup here. You see I can place the analysis on this history triangle, and unluckily we'd have been taken in just by one tick and then would have been stopped out. I mean, in reality this happened so quick, so the time you would have actually seen the setup and be able to place your order in, you probably wouldn't have been filled on this one, but for the sake of the video we'll count it as a -1 loss. Then the market went up and gave us a TS1 sell here, which was the high of the day. If I place the analysis on, you can see that got you short. The market then went down, was chopping around all day, had a really sharp decline pretty near the close, and you can see this is where we came down and tagged our profit target absolutely beautifully. This was pretty much the low of the day, so here you were short from the high of the day to take profit pretty much at the low of the day. I mean, you can't do better as a day trader. It was absolutely amazing. But the great thing was the profit. Here you can see the profit was 7 times the initial risk. Remember, we use correct position sizing here. That varies our number of contracts, lots or shares to keep our initial risk small and under control. In this case, less than 2% of a sample $20,000 account, and here the profit was 7 times greater than the initial risk. In other words, this losing trade you had here would have been -1 loss, and this profitable trade would have been +7 so absolutely amazing. As the trend was down, more experienced MTPredictor users could have looked to pyramid or add to trades as the market was going with them. There was another set up here that would have been stopped out, so this wouldn't have helped your cause on the pyramiding. However, there was another setup here as well that came in a bit later on. So if you're trading a second setup, in other words a setup that you're adding or pyramiding an existing position, how do you manage the trade? Well, do you come out at the first target on the second position? If you had, that would have been a very nice, that would have been a +3.9 or almost 4R trade. Remember, we're looking to go short all the way down here in the direction of our first trade setup, so you wouldn't have been looking to go long here at this setup here. You'd be ignoring this. So if you had added +4R, again that would have added +4R or 3.9 to our existing 7R profit earlier. Or what you could have done is, if you'd got your target for your first trade here, let's just put a little rectangle around this so we know where it is, around about there. That would be the profit target for your first trade, which we know already is made +7R. On this second one here, you could have used the same target, which would have been down there with that blue rectangle. So you could have added another 8R profit on that one as well if you want to. Remember, we would have been stopped out on our pyramid position here as well, just for clarity. But either way, if you had a pyramided and come down here and added an additional 8R, it would have been absolutely amazing. But if you hadn't, the first trade of the day, no questions at all, standard MTPredictor trade setup, coming down here, a lovely 7R profit. So an absolutely amazing day on the YM yesterday. Let's have a look at some other markets. On the NQ, it's quite interesting because the NQ was a bit stronger throughout the early part of the day, and if we look to the STF was actually, I'll just make that a little bit darker or a little bit thicker so we can see it. STF was blue stroke black, interesting enough, and we did actually have a lovely setup here. For the sake of the tape, there would have been a history triangle here, which would have actually just clipped you in long and come out for a -1R loss. Same rules apply. We use correct position sizing to keep our initial risk small and under control. So this would have been a -1R loss. Then you would have had a second trade set up here that went straight to our first target out there. But again, look at the profit. The profit is large in relation to the initial risk. This is the key, or the true key to successful trading, is that not necessarily having a high percentage of winning trades, but when the winners come through, they are large in relation to the initial risks or losses. So this would have been -1R loss, then +4.8R or almost 5R profit, and yes, you would have had another losing trade here as well. So -1, -2, +4.8. Still a very, very good day indeed. Also, the high here that came in just before the decline, if you'd placed a DP off that pivot, which you would have done, just look where the high came in, right at our DP resistance. So pretty much nailed exactly what happened on the NQ on Friday as well. If you're trading the ES on the 3-minute chart, it would have been quite quiet, chopping sideways there. That was the same setup as we had in the NQ. However, on the 5-minute chart, if I just change to a 5-minute chart, whoops, there's my analysis on already, so I'll just clear that off. On the 5-minute chart, we actually had a TS1 buy setup here, black STF. Let's put the analysis on. The market went up to within a whisker of the first target. Then we had a TS3 sell setup here, and this caught the decline absolutely beautifully to be pretty much the same profit as we had on the YM. So a lovely 7.1 hour profit there on the short side from that TS3 sell setup. Black STF's a standard MTPredictor trade setup. So that was on the 5-minute chart. No excuse to miss any of these setups, because our scanner, which we have running here, let's just drag it out a bit so you can see it a bit clearer. Whoops. Just drag it so it's a bit bigger. Your scanner here, you can have all your time frames running in there, and when you when a trade setup comes in, you're alerted by the trade setup coming in there as well. So there's no excuse to miss any of these trade setups. They are all there in the scanner running in the background for you. So a very good day for MTPredictor on Friday. A lovely sell there on the 5-minute ES, backed a very nice profit. But the market that I liked the best on Friday was the YM. Absolutely amazing day. Short from the high of the day there with a TS1 sell, down into take profit at the low of the day for a 7.1 hour profit. But again, this profit was much larger than any otherwise losing trades earlier in the day. So it just shows you the true power of MTPredictor, and not only that, but also the power of position sizing to keep your losses small and under control and your profits large. So a very good day for MTPredictor customers on Friday.